think we are live, Ellie? We are.
Hello, everyone.
we were already looking at the chat, but I think we are live.
We're being distracted by the chat already.
Yeah, because we recognize some names, and I was saying to Ali, Sherry is here again, so Sherry knows all the questions.
Yes,
normally ask. So.
Look, this is my third stream. This is so exciting. Awesome.
Yeah, and I said to, I recognize some. See, I recognize some names.
Okay, Ali is here for the second time. You're so welcome. Same with Nick Still. That's right, because you're the goat, Cherry. That's really funny. Awesome. Hello, everyone. It's super nice to have you here for today's online open day. Yes. This is a somewhat special online open day.
Yes, it's
isn't
our
it?
last one for the season as well.
It's our last one.
That's one reason that it's special.
One reason.
And then the second one is that we are inviting students who are currently studying here at DAE to answer your questions.
Yes,
so that will be
indeed.
As well, I think.
Yes, and Yolene and I always say that sometimes, it's nicer to hear from the students themselves because they are the ones that are living the experience. We have 4 international students joining us a little bit later. I just realized there's a third reason why this stream is special.
Oh.
The third reason is because this is part of an in-person open day. So there's also a live open house day going on. Students, prospective students, parents, families are maneuvering around our campus, the level today. But, we wanted to take it online again for those of you who couldn't join us in person today. So it's really great to hear from you in the chat already and to see you virtually.
Indeed. It's always nice to know where students are, from which country they are joining.
Yes. Let us know.
Yeah.
Where are you coming from? Let us know. Anybody coming from a European country? Anybody coming from Belgium?
We know Sherry is from Belgium. Or
a European country. We're very curious. And for those of you who might have already figured this out in a previous stream, don't blow the answer in the chat. I am American. We're going to do a trivia moment. I'm from the U.S., and I want you all to guess where I'm from in the U.S. Trivia moment. If you already know this, don't put it in the chat. But okay, from Czechia, welcome. Belgium and Germany, Ecuador, Poland, Cyprus. Ooh, Vietnam. 2 from Vietnam.
Yeah, two people joining from Vietnam.
An American in Germany. Super cool.
Ecuador. Again. Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, indeed. All right.
All right.
Exciting. All right. Okay. Well, we'll start.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Let's introduce ourselves, shall we?
Yeah, we are taking way too long for the introduction. The pointer doesn't work.
All right. There we are.
Okay, yeah. Maybe first we'll start with the overview.
Our pointer likes to have some fun sometimes.
Our pointer has some crazy things. Okay, first the overview. So what will be covered during this session? First of all, we'll talk a little bit more about Howest University of Applied Sciences. No, it's okay, I changed them.
Does it work?
Yeah. Okay. Then we dive into our program, Digital Arts and Entertainment. We'll talk about student life, about our veterans. We call it veterans. So once you graduated here, you are a veteran. We'll dive in that topic as well. Community, for us, that's really important. So we share some information about that. And the last thing is admissions. And then the very, very last thing is, of course, then the Q&A with the students.
Exactly.
We already introduced, or not actually.
Somewhat briefly.
Yeah, somewhere briefly in between.
I gave some tidbits.
So my name is Jolene. I'm the international coordinator here at Digital Arts and Entertainment. And right for me,
yes.
Lovely.
And I am Ali. So it's very nice to meet you online. I am not from Belgium. I'm from the United States. I've been living here in Belgium for 6 years now, almost. I'm originally from the United States, and I understand how it is to be an international student, how it is to come from a different country and kind of like uproot your life and start somewhere new. So I really can relate to a lot of the emotions and feelings that are going on for you as you prepare for your next chapter. So I'm really happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. I'm our internships coordinator here at Digital Arts and Entertainment, and I'm also our ethics coordinator. So in a very brief nutshell, that just means that I organize events and activities to make students feel safe on campus, to feel like they belong. I also teach a course called Career Skills, which you will take in your first year, about personal and professional development. So that's it about me.
I saw Sherry is asking, like, is Silke here? No, she's not joining the session today because she's on maternity leave.
Woohoo! Go Silke!
Yeah, go Silke.
Babies!
So no, Silke is not joining, Sherry.
But no worries, we can answer your questions.
Okay, so studying in Belgium at Howest University of Applied Sciences. So most of you will probably know where Belgium is located. Belgium is a very, very small country, actually in the heart of Europe. And yeah, we have a very nice program here, game development, VFX, animation and sound design. That's under the umbrella digital arts and entertainment. We do have also other programs, of course, and we actually offer 6 English taught programs. So yeah, digital arts and entertainment is one of them. Are you still like in doubt or something? You can also have a look at other programs as well. We have like bachelor in creative technology and AI, in cybersecurity, digital design and development. The Divine track is also very nice. So yeah, we have actually a lot of nice English programs. So yeah, if you want to have more information, you can always contact one of the coordinators over there. But yeah, you are here, not for the other programs, but for our program. So we'll dive into that later. Ali will do that. So Belgium, we have a very pretty small city, Bruges. I think you like Bruges, Ali.
I love Bruges. I actually lived in Bruges. My first year in Belgium, I lived there. And I think you will love it too.
Yeah, Bruges is like, they call it the Venice of the North sometimes. And yeah, if you never have been to Bruges before, it's like 40 minutes train ride from Kortrijk. So it's really nice. And then we have Kortrijk. And that's the city where our campus is located. So we have, I forgot to mention maybe, we have like several campuses, one in Bruges and one in Kortrijk, and also one in Oudenaarde. But our campus is located in Kortrijk. Also a nice city. Ali lives here also now, so you lived in both cities.
I also live in Kortrijk. And I think, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but Kortrijk, I love Kortrijk. I also love Bruges, but it's really special here, especially for students and international students, because you, at least in my experience, it's a very comfortable, cozy atmosphere. It's not too big of a city. It's also not a super small city. It's somewhere in between. But I think as a student, you don't get overwhelmed by this big, massive city with a ton of different neighborhoods, but you still have a lot to do. You still have a lot to explore. There's a lot of nice bookshops and cafes and different cool art spots to check out in Kortrijk as well. So I really enjoy living here so far. And a lot of people are very open-minded, also English speaking as well. So that's good to keep in mind.
English is widely spoken here, I could say. Maybe like the older generation is a little bit more difficult. I think you have more like experience in it.
Yeah, definitely. I would say most people, if you do speak to them in English, most people do speak English back to you, or they can. it depends sometimes with older generations. Sometimes this isn't the case. But for the most part, me living here, I haven't had a problem at all. So that's helpful to keep in mind.
All right. Okay. So yeah, we have 3 campuses. So we have a lot of students at our program. So many students, we can't host them all in our hub. Our hub is actually the level. That's the building in the... Oh, I need to swap mic. Thank you, Wout. So our hub is the level, it's called, in the middle. That's the building in the middle. And then other classes will be hosted in the other campuses as well. We have the newest building on the right is the Penta, and the square to the left. Here you see some pictures of all the different buildings, especially the level. I think it's like our own.
Yes,
place,
it's very
it's really
unique.
nice.
It's very unique. So you'll see that the stairs on the bottom left corner, actually the building itself was designed to resemble like a level of a game.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's called the level. Okay. It was built in 2015, 2016, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Indeed.
And so this is really our hub for students here. There is a new building being built right next door to the level that also has some student dorms in it as well. So that's going to be a really exciting addition in the next year or so. But the level, and that's where we are right now, is our hub.
So the dorms will be, that's a little side track now, the dorms will be available from next academic year. So actually you can roll out of your bed and just follow the classes here in the level. It's pretty close. It's like crossing the street.
It's a 30-second walk, I
Yeah.
think. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's a big plus, I think.
Yeah. All right. We covered already the first topic.
Yes, we did. And now we'll jump into the undergraduate program here at Digital Arts and Entertainment. So our degree has existed since 2006. So we're nearing 20 years of DIE.
Yeah,
which is
indeed.
crazy. That is so exciting. We are a public school here in Belgium, which basically means that we do not have an entrance exam. It is not required, for example, to submit a portfolio or any kind of documents that you might see at another university that is private. We are also a 3-year program. Other university programs, you'll see maybe they are 4. Our curriculum is condensed into 3 years across 6 different majors. If anyone out there knows what our 6 different majors are and can just
Name them
off the top of your head.
But we have some students who are already joining for
we do. And there's also Google.
And there's also Google.
But if you can do it without thinking back or going to Google, that would be very impressive. We have around 1,700 enrolled students, which definitely has increased since I've been working at DIE, and that's been since 2020. It's definitely increased over the years. We have over 600 international students. I think it's around 40%, maybe a little bit more than that. Almost 90 on our teacher team and staff team, of which some are international as well.
Yeah,
I am included.
You're included.
I'm included in that subgroup.
We have a very international focus. We have a lot of international students. You could roughly say that 1 out of 3 students is like an international, so not from Belgium. Mm-hmm. And we do also motivate students to go abroad during their studies.
Absolutely.
So doing an internship abroad or during an Erasmus study. Mm-hmm. We do have also our school visits or trips. So we motivate people to travel.
Yep. And I'll get into it in a little bit as well, but I am the internships coordinator, and the last semester of your studies, your 3-year studies here at DIE, is an internship. So you find a company either in Belgium, could also be abroad, and complete an 18-week internship semester at that studio or company. So also a really interesting way to discover the world and the way that the industry works in different countries as well.
I see some interesting things in the chat. Alex said, yeah, I was born when the DAE was found. It's pretty impressive, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And
yes, it's exciting for you all. You will be here for the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, indeed. It will be like an anniversary edition next academic year.
Yeah. We're working on our special 20 years of DIE planning. So that's exciting for you all to join as well.
There will be a lot of festivities, and parties and things going on.
I think so. I'm excited
for that. And actually, it's funny. Yeah, students enrolling will indeed like the year that they are born, and then 20 years of DAE. It's funny. We should do something with that.
That is so wild. Is there anyone else that was born on the year that DIE was founded? I'm just curious. We get to know each other a little bit during this info stream. All right. If we can go to the next slide, because my pointer is being a little bit funky.
All right. Just as an overview to... If we can swap again.
You can also vote our wonderful. Yes, there you go.
Here you see our student population. So you see our students coming from all over the world. And this is our current student population. So if you would mark all the countries who have ever studied here, I think the map would be even more red. The rookies, maybe some of you know the rookies. We are very proud of that. It's a very prestige award. Actually, Alex, who won
Yes.
Yeah,
it's actually a perfect segue. So we'll have one of the students on the panel a little bit later. Alex was featured as one of the best students in his category via the rookies competition. Yes. So we're going to make sure we ask Alex about that.
Yeah, you can ask him questions about the rookies and how did he won that award. Was it an award or was it just the article? I don't know. Yeah, we should
ask him.
We'll have to ask
Alex knows best.
Yeah, indeed. So anyway, we've won the award for best game design and development school in the world, several times already. And the results in 2004, we win some category prizes almost every year. We won second place in the game design and development, first place in production excellence in the mobile games, and then another mobile prize. So really proud of that. That's
we are very proud of this, and we also, Jolene and I both, hate to be braggy.
Indeed, yeah.
And it makes me kind of uncomfortable to be look at us. But I have to say, this really is a testament to how wonderful our students and our staff is. To be featured in the rookies every year and winning that first place award quite a few times, it's really a big deal. And also, interestingly enough, how a lot of the international students find us here at DIE.
Indeed, yeah. It's a big achievement of a lot of work, student work, but also teacher work. So we are proud of it, but indeed it's something. Okay. All right.
Alrighty, so now that we've gone over some of the basics of DIE, I want to jump into the structure of the curriculum. For those of you who are watching the stream for the first time, maybe this is really interesting in terms of kind of the more logistical information about the curriculum. So as I said, it's a 3-year program. In the first year, you'll see in your first semester, and this is from September to January, January being the exam period, it's an introduction where you really kind of dip your toes into the fundamentals, the foundations, depending on which major you choose, and I'll go through all of them in just a little bit. Semester 2 is kind of where you start to expand on the foundational elements that you have seen in the first semester. The second semester runs from February all the way up into June. June is the exam period. I want to mention it just because a lot of international students, it works differently depending on where you're coming from and how the university structure is. The way that it works in Belgium is the exam period is over the course of a month. So you have 5 or 6 courses per semester, and the final exams, quite often it's assignment based and not a test or a traditional exam. They're scheduled over the course of 4 weeks. And so you have that January exam period for the fall courses that you've taken, and then the June exam period for the spring semester courses that you've taken. So then hopefully you have a wonderful and relaxing summer holiday full of lots of sun. And then you are in year 2. And in year 2, this is where you really start to develop your expertise in the semester 3. You really start to go into the depths of the specific topics that you're covering in your courses. And then you get to semester 4, and this is where you finalize those hard skills and also start to really develop your portfolio. The portfolio is really what we deem as really important in terms of getting an internship and breaking into the industry if that is something that you would like to do. In the second semester, in year 2 as well, we have something called film projects and game projects. And so this is where you work together in a team already in your second year to develop either a game or a film in just a few short weeks. And then again, hopefully you enjoy the summer holiday. And then, believe it or not, you're already in year 3. So the first semester of year 3 is split up between group projects, which in a sense is very similar to what I just talked about, but it's definitely more autonomous. It's also more in depth, where you work together with a group, several different profiles of students as well in terms of major, to either make a short film or create a game as a team in one semester. At the end of this stream, we're going to be showing one of the results of the film projects. All of the projects, I have to say, games, film, are fantastic. But this one's just really lighthearted, and it's a really nice way to close out the stream. Aside from the group projects that you'll be doing, you also will tackle graduation work. What is graduation work? That is basically where you choose a research topic of your interest. It does have to be approved by us. You will be assigned a supervisor who is a teacher here at DIE that kind of matches the profile of the research that you'll be doing. And for the grad work, you do that in tandem, so together with the group projects. And that is due at the end of the first semester. And then it's time for your internship. So this is an 18-week internship where basically you function as part of the company. You fully immerse yourself in the production pipeline, whether it's games, film, or sound design. You are basically a traditional, normal employee. Students stay in Belgium for this. They also go abroad. Really depends. We've had students in the Netherlands, Germany, the UK. We have a student now we have one student doing his internship in Japan. Yeah, it's super interesting. We have one doing a remote internship in Canada. So that's something you can absolutely look forward to. We guide you throughout that process as well. You again will be given a supervisor from the side of DIE to check in with you bi-weekly about how it's going, what kinds of tasks that you're doing. We help you find an internship, but it is also totally up to you to be active in that search. Checking LinkedIn, looking on our internal tool. You have a while until you get there, but I think you'll be surprised how fast it goes. So it's interesting to know this already.
Maybe it's interesting to mention here because Rin asked, that was one of the questions, like, do we organize festivals or stuff like that? To find an internship, we have our Unwrap Career Fair.
Yes. So there are 2 really interesting events that we do for yes, students who are prospectively looking for internships or opportunities to break into the industry. One of them is coming up next Thursday, and it's in the top of my mind because I'm actively preparing for it now. The portfolio review. So each year in May, we basically dedicate a Thursday evening to inviting companies over and having teachers and lecturers give feedback on portfolios, also CVs, also just general advice about working in the film or games industry. This year we have 25 different companies coming over, around 50 industry veterans and 30 teachers. So it's a lot of helping hands and a lot of different inputs of advice. That is in May every year. In the fall, this is a more formal career fair, an internship fair, where again, as part of a larger festival called the Unwrap Festival, we organize an internship fair for you all, where I think in the past we've had over 60 to 70 companies come over to have a chat with you, discuss your portfolio, discuss what job opportunities you're seeking, so that you are absolutely recommended to join. Technically from your first year, but it really gets interesting for you in your second year. Yep.
Indeed.
All right, so we'll move right ahead. If my clicker will work. There we go. So I see Cherry. No surprise. We are not surprised because Cherry is on it. Has all of our majors already written out in the chat. So game development, game graphics production, visual effects, game sound integration, independent game production, and 3D animation. You'll see that the majors in red are more games oriented. We also have majors that you see here in black that are more film oriented as well. What I do want to say is throughout this stream, we've said games, film, but I have to say that the skills that you learn in a lot of these majors they're very versatile. Yeah, they can be applied in lots of different industries.
Because the truth is, a lot of majors also share like courses in between. So it can happen that you follow a course with another major because you just need to follow the same course.
Yep. A good example of that is game sound integration. Yeah. Sometimes the students will follow courses that game development students also have. Same goes for game graphics production and independent game production. But it's very versatile. We have a company coming over next week from the automobile industry. Yeah. We've had students working in healthcare, doing like 3D visualizations and 3D modeling and such. So the world is your oyster, I would say.
Indeed.
Ooh. I'll go back. It is perhaps most interesting for you to check out some of the works that our students have made across all of our different majors and all of our different courses at DIE. So we will allow you to take a look at the trailer, and I will stop talking for about a minute, which is hard for me. All right, but here we go. Enjoy. All right. So what do we think of the trailer? I saw that already people are impressed. I, too, am impressed by this. I did not study digital arts and entertainment.
And we saw it already, I think, more than 100 times already, I think.
And each time,
we are like, wow.
We're still impressed. I did see a question already about, do you learn programming skills in GGP? You do. So there's also a programming course for artists, programming for artists 1, which is in the fall semester of your first year, and then programming for artists 2, and that's in the spring semester of your first year. Perhaps interesting to note, you can see all of the classes per major, per semester, outlined on our website. So if you go to digitalartsandentertainment.be and click course overview, you can go per major and check out every single class that you'll take here at Digital Arts and Entertainment.
Maybe I want to dive in a little bit more, but like in general, GGP students, IGP students learn C# and GD students is C++.
Indeed,
that's like
indeed.
The biggest difference, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just a side note.
Yep, and even in GGP, so per major, the programming languages change. Even because we really like to stay up to date with the industry, sometimes we change what software or tools that we're using, like Blender is a good example of that, for our GGP game graphics and independent game production students as well. We use Blender now. It used to be Maya. Before that, it used to be a tool named 3ds Max. Yeah. So we really changed depending on where the industry is going.
Some majors still use Maya. Like Maya is used in animation, 2D animation. So for animation, they still use Maya, but for games more, they use Blender.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we adjust.
There's C++ is the final boss. We have a colleague who is extremely passionate about C++. His name is Tom. You'll meet him when you get here. He loves C++.
And he does also a lot of talks, like he's going to CPP North.
Yeah, in Canada.
Yep.
Shout out Tom.
His love for the C++ language and retro games. So
yeah,
it's
that's
always
also very cool.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on. I'll go quickly per major. And it's also interesting to hear from our students, which you'll hear from a little bit later, about their experiences within their major, what they find exciting, what they find challenging, and so on. So in game development, this is where programming, C++, takes center stage. In game development, you'll cover graphics programming. Cherry, Tom needs to save us. We're going to show this to Tom. We're going to show it to him. Engine programming as well, gameplay programming, and tool development. So these are 4 of the pillars, I would say, that you really can expect to see in the major, and also, do during your internship and further on in your career. Game graphics production is our largest major historically. I do have to say that independent game production is slowly getting up there. Game development is also definitely a saturated major as well. But independent game production is growing in size for sure over the last couple of years. Game graphics production, what you'll see here, this is the major that trains you to be a technical artist. So here you'll see 3D, modeling, sculpting, and so on, environments and procedural generation as well. You'll see that for sure when it comes to making environments, game assets such as characters, such as props. What you'll see in the GGP major is that there are 2 minors. So there is a track that you can take for technical art. This is when it gets more procedural, you focus more on environments, and then there's the other track, and that is the stylized creation track. You'll see more character creation, more props, more game assets as such. So that's our biggest major here at Digital Arts and Entertainment. Moving on to our newest major, game sound integration. So GSI has been around for a few years now, and the number of students here are growing as well, which is exciting. Game sound integration is technically under the greater umbrella of game development, so you'll see a lot of programming as well in this major. You'll see audio programming, of course, sound integration. You'll see things like Foley, where you have to kind of like create sound effects and audio for games. Maybe it's a game where people are stepping on leaves in a forest, like Animal Crossing or something. Foley is a course that you really learn how to generate these sounds and then implement them into a game. Independent game production, this is the major that I referenced a bit earlier that has been steadily growing. I think it also has to do with where the industry has been heading in the past couple of years. The industry has of course faced challenges, and there's been layoffs and such in the major companies. I'm sure that a lot of you have seen that in the news over the years. I think somewhat as a result, the indie studios have really gained traction, which of course for our major and our local ecosystem is really exciting. Some things you'll see here, you'll see a mix of art, technical art, of course, and programming. You'll see game art, applied math, and physics. Don't stress just yet when you see the word math. You'll see game design and game production as well. Always when I mention math, we have a lot of questions.
Yeah, we have always a lot of questions.
And I understand, because I would be one of the ones that would be asking about math.
Me as well.
All of our majors do have at least a foundation level of applied math and physics. And it's really tangible. Like, you see what you can do. You use often the tool Houdini, and it's really applied math. You see what math can do for you in a game or film context, what you can make with it, so to speak. The only major that does not have math is 3D animation. All of the other majors, you will see a foundation level of math. If you have questions about the math level, don't worry, because this is always a question for our students that comes up as well. All right, and moving on to the film-oriented majors, we have visual effects. In our VFX major, you'll see compositing. You'll see, of course, 3D. You'll see VFX simulations and math and programming. And last but not least, 3D animation, where, surprise, surprise, you'll see animation. You'll see pre-production as well as you see in game graphics production too. You'll see character design and, of course, rigging. So making sure all of the different limbs and body parts are structured and move as they should. Oh, oopsie. All right. So studying at DIE, we, as we mentioned, have a lot of international students on our campus, and we like to share the experiences from our international students. We have an upcoming video from one of our students who's doing her internship right now. Currently, Ani. Ani's doing her internship at Flanders Game Hub, which is a local indie company right across the street. Ani is from Latvia, and Ani shares her story with us in the next slide. So enjoy.
My name is Anja, and I study in Howest, Digital Arts and Entertainment, and I specialize in game graphics production. There is no school in Latvia that provides such education. Belgium is a beautiful place, which also enticed me to come here to study. The cost of study for European students is 1,200 euros, which is really low. Living is also quite manageable. Each month I spend around 600 euros for rent, living, food, and having fun as well. I was aware that the learning curve in the school is quite steep. All the teachers try their very best to help us out. I feel like the connection between the teachers and students is very strong. Making friends here was really easy. The moment I, as an international student, arrived, I was presented with a buddy and pal group where other students that have already studied get paired with incoming internationals and help them out to feel at home here. I really like Kortrijk because it is a very small city that also brings forth a feeling of community. A lot of people know each other. It's really close to big cities. Ghent is just half an hour's train ride away. Next year is a big one for me. I will be going on an exchange program abroad to Wisconsin to study game art there. And after that, I will have a semester of internship. We have Unwrap Festival, where a lot of companies, mostly Belgian game and animation companies, come to our school to present themselves for internships. After my studies, I plan to find a job. I would definitely recommend coming here to study, especially if you're an international, and you will really feel like home in no time. I'm a really anxious person, so going out of my comfort zone can be really challenging. But coming here, I realized the people really can bring you out of your shell.
All right.
All right, so we really hope that you enjoyed that video. I think it's always interesting to see what the experience is like from a fellow international student. I'm wondering, is anyone out there from Latvia?
I think I saw, I don't know for sure.
Or any nearby country. I think in previous streams there was a Latvian student.
There was a, I think in the previous there was someone from Latvia.
Yeah. If not,
I could be wrong now.
If not, no worries. I also see I'm glancing over to the chat and I saw that somebody is bouncing between IGP, so independent game production, and 3D animation. For that student that is wondering, I want to ask you also, in which industry do you see yourself working in the future? Do you see yourself more starting your own game studio? Because in IGP, you will be looking more so at programs and tools that you use for games. You'll also have game production, so you'll see how producing works in the games industry, and of course that does look a bit different for the film industry. For IGP, the programming piece, of course, is heavier than it would be in 3D animation, so that's a difference as well. But I would say what your goal is, where you want to find yourself working 10 years from now. But of course, any questions you can ask our students as well.
Indeed.
So studying at DIE, of course, we've already mentioned a lot of this already. It's fully English taught. We also have a Dutch curriculum as well that works in tandem with the English curriculum. But you'll see even a lot of Belgian students also opt for the the English curriculum. And it's really nice to kind of reciprocally learn from each other in that way as well. We have a lot of opportunities to go abroad here, low tuition fees comparatively with other schools that offer a similar program. What I do want to say, and I say this during every live stream.
Okay, I'm curious
I
now.
know, and I don't want to scare anyone. That would be my least favorite thing to do ever. That's not on character with me. But I want to be honest and I want to be transparent. This curriculum is heavy. It's a 3-year program, but some students and colleagues do say that it could be done over the course of 4 years, but it's condensed into a 3-year program. Each semester you'll have 5, or for the first semester you have 6 courses. I just want to say that it's a lot of work. It is demanding. It's a demanding curriculum, and perhaps you've heard that from students currently studying here. With that being said, your planning is key. Mm-hmm. Making a planning, keeping an agenda, having either like external accountability or working with study buddy. We have our study nights on campus, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I do want to say that when we talk about our degree program, it's a lot of work, and it's also quite assignment based. And so that's a bit different from maybe what you've seen in the past where it's more exam or test oriented. Over here, you'll see a lot of projects and assignments.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, one thing I want to add is like we only are allowed to have like a 3-year program, and a lot of other countries who are offering the same program, they do it in 4 years. So actually, you see the same content compressed in 3 years. So that's why it make it more intense. But
This
it's
chat
doable.
is so
We have
motivational.
yeah.
This is amazing. So yeah, I mean, I just want to share it. Yolene and I both are just want to be transparent with you all.
It's intense but doable also.
It is. It's definitely,
like you mentioned, if you have like a good planning, if you find some peers, just keep motivating each other. I think
for sure. I see a question about working on the side of your studies. Also, just want to be transparent here. It's quite difficult. What we do advise students to do is go through the first semester, see how you are managing with your studies and work-life balance and such, and then make a decision from there about a student job. I'm making a separation between part-time work and a student job because when we talk about that it could be feasible to work on the side, we are talking about jobs such as like working at a restaurant, maybe like doing some prep cooking, being a hostess at a restaurant, working at the grocery store or the movie theater. But really not a part-time job. Unfortunately, it's just the reality that there isn't sufficient time for that. But if you get through the first semester, you have a grip on your studies, and you do have a good planning, adding a student job on top of that could be possible. Yeah. It's just really, it's tough.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. Our veterans as well. So we call our alumni veterans because they went through the curriculum, they have been here, they are here to share their experience with you as well. A lot of them come to the portfolio review and the career fair. So you'll have the chance to meet with a lot of our alumni as well.
Yeah, we have a very nice alumni student group, and also they're very active. They show up on a lot of events that we organize. Some come here and give a talk during one of the study nights. So it's really nice to have such a nice people around.
For sure. And it's also really nice that they share when you become a veteran, you will be invited to join a LinkedIn group called DIE Veterans. Ooh. And we share, and veterans, people who work at DIE, share job opportunities. And it's super helpful. This is an incredible resource of thousands of graduates who have different connections, different industries, and are just lovely people.
Indeed, yeah.
I want to share with you, just out of pure interest, the different works that our veterans have worked on as well. We have Moana 2. We have Arcane. I don't know if we have any fans of these shows, games, or films out there. Pauline DeHauer, who was actually part of one of our student leader groups, worked on Arcane, and Pauline came recently to give a talk about her work on Arcane as well. Cyberpunk, of course, Baldur's Gate 3, which is by Larian Studios, which is headquartered in Ghent. They'll be coming also next week with like 8 employees, which is super cool. Oh, wow. Avatar, Forza Horizon, Prince of Persia, Mario Brothers. I mean, so many different games and films.
So impressive to see always.
It really is. It really is. We also want to highlight some of the local studios. So this is kind of a combination of some... There is so much excitement in the chat. This is awesome. So we see here games from Tovinar, Cybernetic Walrus, Salty Lemon, Moon Monster Studios, Pajama Llama, Rogue Side, Hyper Viper, Triangle Factory, Happy Volcano. So these are all examples of studios in our local ecosystem who are doing really, really cool things. All right, and quickly, but emphasis on quickly, because I think it's even better to hear this from the students themselves. I want to share about our community. So our community team is here to make sure that there are plenty of opportunities on campus to step away from your laptop for a bit, to step away from your screen and enjoy time with your peers. As I mentioned, the curriculum can be heavy. And so with that being said, it's really important to also focus on managing your well-being, giving yourself a breather, and keeping busy with other things as well. So we have Isabel, our community coordinator. She's downstairs right now talking to some new international students who are here for the info day and their families. We have Wout, who is actually sitting right next to us in the tech room.
Actually, it's rude. We didn't introduce him.
Yeah, Wout. Wout waves. Wout is waving to you.
Yeah, Wout is waving to you.
Wout is our community engagement and technology officer and also our streaming helper tech person who is sitting and helping us during the stream. So thank you, Wout. We also have Sophie. Sophie is selling merchandise downstairs. She is our community creative admin. So what is our community all about? It's about providing a home away from home, organizing events and activities on campus, and guest lectures as well from people in the industry, making you feel comfortable on and around campus. Students having fun, I see a workshop on lino cutting. There's like a educational workshop you see in the bottom right corner, students giving feedback to each other, students playing music together. There's a lot of different things going on that you can get involved in. Some weekly activities that happen here, Music Jam. We have a room in which you can play your instruments and sing and do whatever you would like to do with fellow students. I believe it's once a week in the evening time. Of course, we'll communicate this with you further on.
And we also we have a lot of clubs. The theater club, they organize something this week, I think. I don't know if it's weekly. I'll have a look at what. It's also weekly. So most of the groups come together like weekly. We have a drawing club who comes together. I think they call themselves Level Up. And they draw on Friday afternoon. Together, like one specific theme. I think this week's session was all about faces.
Oh, cool.
It's really interesting to see.
Yeah.
And nice that students come together and...
Yeah, and it's really important. Yeah. Like, you are behind your screens a lot. And so getting out there and doing things that excite you. We have like a skateboarding, rollerblading club as well. Dance club. It's also fun to see the evolution of these clubs and activities over the years because new students come in with new hobbies.
Yeah, I saw that. Is there a photography club? I don't think so. I'll have a look at Wout. Maybe Wout. No,
not yet.
So you can start one. That would be great. I think it's always nice to have if you find some students who are interested in one topic, you can make a group.
Yep, absolutely. So this is definitely subject to change. Dungeons and Dragons, I know this is hugely popular amongst our students. We have an organization here on campus that organizes one-shots and D&D campaigns. And I mean, it is hugely popular. So if you are into D&D,
we recently had our D&D study night, hadn't we? Yeah, like a few weeks ago, so they could come dress up, I think. I see what is actually actively joining the session. He's whispering in our ears.
Yeah, Wout has his D20, I think, as a necklace. Yeah, D20, it's a D20. If you're not into any of these things, you can start your own or
Indeed.
just try something.
Indeed.
So the world is your oyster yet again. All right, moving onwards. I'll pass it over to Yolene to talk about our
very
intro
briefly
courses.
because we are running out of time. We already talked about math and other stuff. If you feel like unsure, if you have like the right skills to start here at our program, we have some entry courses. That is 1 week before the start of the academic year, and you can like subscribe on any course you want. Like, oh, maybe I want to do some pre-production. I'm not that good in pre-production. I just want to follow like a intro course. That's possible. An overview of all the courses you can find on our website. Here you already see like a very short overview. And just, it's 20 euros per course you follow, I think. And you have to, the registration opens somewhere. Is it already open?
Yeah, so actually, I think
it is open.
Yeah, today.
From now, today.
So
okay.
congratulations. Everybody can register for the intro courses starting today. So if you want to refresh your math, if you want to refresh your IT fundamental skills,
or
3D,
yeah.
Go ahead and sign up. It's also a really nice way to meet other students.
Indeed, yeah.
All right. Moving forward. Come on, clicker. I believe in you.
Oh, and then we already mentioned it several times. So we do, we go on a lot of trips. There are a lot of guest lectures during the classes, but also during the study nights. We have study visits. This year we went to Los Angeles. Maybe next academic year will be another destination. We don't know yet. But actually, we do a lot of international stuff. We do have a rap festival. We mentioned it as well. Actually, I think, we can skip it because we're running out of time. Okay.
One important slide as well is just we do have, and the slide is about mental health as well. I did say that it is quite a demanding curriculum. We do, of course, we have our community team here on campus to really guide you, be a first listening ear for you as well. We have our student support services, STUVO they are called, for psychosocial counseling, for financial assistance, speaking about financials as well, keeping you busy with social events and cultural activities. But I do want to say just, and this is not to scare you, it's just to let you know that I've been here before. I know what it is like to kind of uproot yourself and plant yourself in another country. Just think well about supporting actively your mental health. Make sure that, for example, you take with both hands opportunities to connect with other students. Even if you're not the most like extroverted or social person, just you can work alongside other students, and even that sometimes it is good for your own well-being and mental health. If you do have any doctors that you keep up or mental health professionals that you keep up with in your home country, make sure also to have a plan already to upkeep that once you do move to Belgium. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's a heavy curriculum, and with that being said, we have a lot of support initiatives and activities to support your well-being, but make sure that already now you are preparing. So any physicians or mental health, any psychologists that you might see now, make sure that you have a plan to continue that also once you start at DIE. It's a lot to move to a new country and have to deal with the city hall registration and cooking for yourself every night and living alone, maybe cooking for yourself for sure. And so maybe already start practicing this like over the summer.
Practice.
Yeah, cooking or maybe like doing things autonomously. So it's just good to note already. And we're here for you, of course.
Indeed. All right.
So we mentioned, and of course this will be available still for you to watch over again. We have a big team that's here to support you. So from our community team, you'll see I'm in the middle under ethics, our Stuvo team, study coaching to help you with your planning as well.
All right, admissions. It's our final chapter. Ellie and I thought that we would like cover all the topics in like less than 1 hour.
We always have this, and that's okay. It's
okay.
part of the info day stream experience.
Indeed. Sorry for that. Okay, so the tuition fee it's different if you are a student coming from the European Union or outside the European Union. If you are living in the European Union, you only pay like 1,500 euros. If you come from across the European Union, it's more. It's like 7,157 euros or something like that. Some requirements. Actually, we don't require a lot. We only need like your higher diploma, but it needs to be translated in English or in Dutch. Most of our students prefer English, of course. And you need to do like an English test. So you need a B2 level to enroll here as a student. Any certificate is okay, so you just need to prove that. Then the blocked account is for non-EU students. So when you want to enroll as a non-EU student, you just need to show that you need to pay up front 11,000 euros, and that money will be released monthly to your bank account to cover your cost of living. And then last but not least, the application deadline. So it's different as well for European students and non-European students. For European students, it's the 1st of July, and non-European students the 1st of June. So yeah, actually the deadline is getting closer.
Yeah, so if you're in this stream, thanks for joining. Yes. And also it's great timing. So, because the application deadline is approaching. But of course, if you have questions about admissions, you can always send an email to admissions@howest.be.
Maybe I want to add, like, if you're still in doubt whether you want to enroll in our program or not, it's better to enroll in the Dream Apply application, and then you can still make a last minute decision, because there are some steps you need to like do and cover. So when in doubt, just enroll, and then you have like the option to choose whether you want to do it or not. And then we have one final slide, I think, the cost of living. So the cost of living will be around, depending of the housing, we could say, like if you want to have like a private bathroom, like more a studio, the cost of living will be indeed a little bit higher. But we have a lot of student houses where you have like shared facilities like bathrooms or kitchen, then the prices are of course a little bit less. So yeah, we could say roughly between 900 and 1,350 euros per month. So that is to cover everything, also including the housing, and also to do some fun as well. We do have our own dorms available. Prices are between 450, 650 per month. But the places are very limited. So if you want to have a spot, make sure you also apply on time, actually. And international students can enroll for a dorm after they have been accepted. So that's a step in the Dream Apply process. If you are accepted, you can apply for a dorm. The procedure, you can find it here. Maybe something I think we should only highlight: if you apply via Dream Apply tool, there's a non-refundable fee. We ask of 50 euros, and if you don't come to study at Howest, you will not get. It's non-refundable.
All right, and now is the time
that
we are going to get ready super quickly for our student panel. So we have 4 current DIE students coming from different countries around Europe to share about their experience studying here at DIE. So we're going to take a super short break to welcome the students here, get them all sorted. Make sure you stick around because this perhaps could be the most interesting part of this live stream to hear from the students themselves. So stick around and we will be right back. All right, we are back, and as promised, I am joined by 4 wonderful students and members of our DIE community. As I said before, I didn't study here. I work here, but I didn't study here, so it's really nice to hear from the students themselves about their experiences. First of all, how's the day going?
Pretty nice. Going great.
Okay, I see thumbs up, so that's always a good sign. Maybe first, it would be awesome if you could introduce yourselves. So we'll start with Alex. Your name, what year you are at DIE, what major, where you come from.
All right, so My name is Alex. I come from Bulgaria. I am a second year animation student. I'm very passionate about animation, so much so that I made a guild out of it, and I try to make a community of like-minded people, so we support and boost each other.
Hello everyone, I'm David. I'm from Germany. I have Romanian parents, so I'm a little bit bilingual. I like game graphics, so I really like art. Also a little bit of the tech side, but mostly art. And I host the movie club, or like the film club. We like to meet up and do community events. And I really like networking and socializing with people, just bringing people together and stuff. And I think VA is a great place for that.
Hi everyone, my name is Anita. I'm 20 years old. I'm a first year IGP student. Basically, when I first got here, the first person that I actually met was David. He just bumped into me. I was like, hey, how are you doing? And he basically said, this is the perfect place for you. And it was. So yeah, I really, really enjoy it here. And basically, this is the best major I could have chosen, best place ever. I feel like home. And I hope you do too in the future.
Oh, that was so sweet. Okay, hi.
A little wholesome.
So wholesome. I have nothing to add.
Yeah.
Okay, hi, I'm Elaine. I'm one of the unicorns. I'm GSI, second year. I'm also from Germany, like David. I was a former study night team member. I was like, the study nights are pretty nice here. Also like doing for the community. We're some people have not so much clubs or something, but what we do is like a little band come together and just play some music, or use the studio just to make some funny sounds. That's basically my major.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Just an overview. I know we have a lot of abbreviations here at DIE. DIE itself is an abbreviation. So GSI is Game Sound Integration. IGP is independent game production, so being an indie dev, game graphics production, and animation.
Yes.
Animation does not have an abbreviation, I guess.
We don't need one.
I mean, you have Annie.
Annie, true.
We don't need an abbreviation.
Thank you so much for joining. Students out there, prospective future students, if you have any questions about life at DIE, about life in Kortrijk, especially coming from somewhere else, now is the time. So go ahead and ask them in the chat. And I'm super happy to chat with our students about your questions. Maybe one, I'll start because a very common question, and it's very logistical, but I can imagine it's something that comes to mind, is how the classes work. How long are they? Are there different kinds of classes? How many people are in the classes? So on a very practical level, how are the classes organized?
What's that?
Well, so typically there's two types of classes. There's the lab, which gives you practice, it gives you feedback, it allows you to work on your project while being overseen by a teacher, and you can ask for feedback, and you can also give feedback to your peers. And then there's lectures, where especially in the first year, you get most of the information for what you have to know and what you need to do, especially when it comes to exams.
So there's lab, which is basically more practical and hands-on.
Yes.
And theory class.
Yep, precisely.
Yeah, and sometimes it depends also what kind of classes, how you call it again. They also like the aula classes for some. I guess you do aula classes for career skills.
Yep.
I have one class, it's computation system, it's just an aula class and it's just a theory exam then. But of course the rest of the classes are like Alex says. So yeah, and some aula classes are mixed with other majors, depends on it.
I just noticed someone in the chat asked if there are groups separated. So theory classes are all together. If multiple majors have an overlapping theory, every major has it together. But then labs, the practical sessions, are separated into groups. Different majors are separated into 3, 4, maybe 5 groups, depending on how big the major is. And those different groups are in labs together.
To add to that, so in the first semester, you're going to get really gigantic classes. Like for us, when we started, we couldn't find spots in the aula. It was just sitting on the floor. Everything was full. It was very
Hopefully
nice.
that doesn't happen to you.
I mean, it's just be early. Like legit, you just have to be 10 minutes early and that's it. Yes, not like me. And the question of... Yes, do you want to
No,
answer?
go ahead, yeah.
The question of whether people are going to stay until August, it depends on you if you like the course or not. If you're international, I would say there are higher stakes. So usually people like they go through with everything, but it's definitely doable. You don't have to be scared of it. Just be active in the community and ask for feedback. Ask for feedback from teachers and from your students, and you're gonna be fine.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree. Howest is very community based. I feel like if you are a bit antisocial, if you're a bit shy, don't worry about it. There's always people around you that will have similar interests as you. So always try to feel included and try to feel like cozy in a group, and then you'll motivate each other to work together.
I feel like being in a group of people is essential. You wouldn't be able to survive without a community.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said the word community. I see Simon has a question in the chat. We're going to get back to that in just a second. But talking about community, and you also, Elena, already mentioned the study night. And I kind of purposely didn't want to talk about the study night until we got to the student panel section. So I want to ask about the study night. What is it? What are the benefits of the study night? What can students really look forward to here?
I mean, I think I can take this as a study night coordinator. The study night, in essence, is one day of the week, the Thursday, where the level, our campus, is open for students and teachers to socialize and study and get feedback and give feedback. I think the biggest, most important part of the study night is finding out that the teachers are not that scary. They're also people, and you can actually talk to them, and you can build connections, which are very important in the long run.
Or drink a beer with them. It's also pretty cool.
Yes.
Yep. Are there any like special study nights that take place during the year?
I'm glad you asked. So we have a few special study nights every semester, of which always we have a ball. There's prom, there's Halloween. We host karaoke, which is always a blast. We hosted this semester D&D study night, where there were multiple parties playing in a competitive setting. I feel like that's one of the best things, and one thing that I have never seen in a different university.
Yeah.
And what I also love about the study night is that you can come with your friends, as like not even like with your majors, or just like just to hang out, or just like, okay, yeah, I have this assignment, just go to the fishbowl or to the silent rooms and just work there. And if we're later, yeah, you go to the bar and grab something to drink. It's pretty nice. And you also like met other people from the other majors as well. Also like how many times I got there and so like, hey Elaine, nice that you're here. I was like, oh yeah, cool that you see. Nice. And yeah.
So it's a really nice opportunity to meet people from other majors and kind of like get out of your bubble in that way, because it's separate from your classes when you are in your class group for a lot of the time.
Also, what happens a lot is after study night, people will group up and either go to Mary's, like a bar, or some other bars in the city, and just socialize after the study night even further. And sometimes we have campfire study nights, because there's a campfire place next to the level. And those are really, really cozy, happen a couple of times per year. But yeah, I find that DAE has a really, really open community. So it's easier to socialize with people here than I would say with my other friends back at home. Because I feel like the gaming artsy bubble, the people are very, very nice to each other and supportive.
I think the biggest point that can be made from the community being so nice is that before coming to the AE, I used to be very introverted, like incredibly introverted. Once I moved and I came here, I became very extroverted to the point where now I host workshops and I try my best to be a center point of community so people around me can thrive.
That's amazing. And I've heard that from a lot of students as well, that and it's totally fine to be introverted, right? And some students, they come here, they're very introverted, and they still by character and by nature are introverted, but spend more time just simply surrounded by others. Even if like at the study night, they go to just work on their assignments, sitting next to each other, or there's a feedback room during the study night as well, where you can get feedback from your peers or teachers as well. Sometimes there's workshops given by teachers or externals as well. I'm scared of social interaction. Don't be. We promise.
I am too. I'm so scared. Like, I'm scared even being here. I'm really shy as a person. But I actually, when Ali emailed me about this, I was so excited. And I was like, wait, she thought of me? I can't believe it. I'm a first year. And I was so happy, especially because when I first arrived here, I was sort of unsure if I should choose this. I mean, I already kind of really wanted to. But taking the step was very hard for me. And then, just going inside, seeing the open day in person, I felt like, oh, okay, this is right. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, like, it's okay. It's okay if you're shy. I am too. Yeah. But I'm going to be a buddy. I already applied for it. I don't know if you talked about it.
We haven't. That's a perfect segue.
But I immediately applied as a buddy. Actually, the link got leaked, and I applied beforehand. So, because I was so excited. So maybe I can be one of like the people's buddies. Like in the chat, maybe you'll see me there. So maybe they can be,
I myself am currently a buddy, as well as David is.
So let's hear about the buddy program. I'm curious. What is the buddy program, and why should those watching maybe be interested?
Okay, so the buddy program is one of my favorite programs because you get to interact with new students. Basically, we are going to get an invitation soon to meet up and get like a quick overview of what it's going to be like. And it's basically like a godfather adoption system, like a guardianship, whatever. You can adopt up to 5 people, meaning 5 people could go into Alex's team or my team or whatever. You can also group up with other students. So for example, four students could team up and have up to 20 buddies in their group. And then you can do activities with your buddies. Basically, the students, the veterans, we are the buddies, and the new people are the pals. It's a bit complicated to remember it. People mix it up all the time. I do too, but yeah. You can go to Crafties and play board games and drink there. You can just go for a walk or go to the cinema together. Basically, our job is to make it easier for you to get acclimated to the environment here.
Because we've already gone through it, so we know a little bit better. You don't have to be in the trenches alone by yourself.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Is the buddy program just for international students, or is it also for Belgian students as well?
It is primarily for internationals, but we do not exclude Belgians. Like if you want to participate in events, you can surely like join, but it's mostly reserved like the spots so that we have enough veterans for new students.
Right.
But yeah, Belgians can also join events. There will be potluck events, for example. I made potluck food once. Basically, there's a big fair at school, and everyone can cook something from their home country. My parents are from Romania, so I made some sarmale. And that took me, I think, 12 or 13 hours to make because I
bet it was so worth it.
Yeah, I got no sleep that night. I cooked until like 6 or 7 a.m. and then I had school and that was terrible.
Wow.
But it was worth it.
Well, I bet it was delicious.
It was. Yes.
I'm sure.
Definitely go to those events. They're really great. You feel... I love the community. Yeah. Genuinely.
I feel like, especially in your first year, you have to go to almost every event. It's like, you will sometimes feel like, oh, I don't have enough time. I need to work on this. I need to work on that. You will always have time to work. Like, you can miss one night of sleep. sometimes that's my way of doing
We don't
it.
promote that.
Yeah, we
but
do not promote pulling
but,
all-nighters.
Maybe.
Yeah. So you can. I feel like the most important thing is socializing, because in the long run, that's the most helpful thing. Having good networking skills is, I feel like, one of the hardest but most important skills you will acquire here.
I cannot agree more because I must confess I was like for a while pretty down. I couldn't get up myself, and I'm so glad that I have my friends here because we also play every Sunday D&D at Crafties, and it's also like pretty nice to looking forward to it, and then we can just talk a little bit about, so like, hey, yeah, I have the bummer here, and then if the one assignment doesn't work really well, then it's like, yeah, okay, it's okay. We just look it up now together if you want. If not, then put it out for a while. Just enjoy the evening, and then you can go further. And I think that really helps. Also that you're not got craved down in your little apartment and things like, yeah, okay, I need to grind because I need the best in my assignment. I just also like talk with the teacher. They don't want the perfect or the best. That's they wanted that you understand it. If it's just like okay, yeah, here and there, it doesn't fit so really. It's okay, but you understood the basics. And that's what they want, and not that that's pretty perfect for the first time. And that's also like a mindset you need to get out of it. So like, be calm, take your time. And it's okay if you one day do nothing. Just do it with your do something with your friends. Just game for a little, and then you can go again.
Don't sacrifice your health and enjoyment for this major or for anything. It's not worth it. Like,
Absolutely not.
yeah.
I'm really glad, and I think it's the first time during a student panel that this topic comes up, and it's been 5 years, I think, of doing student panels, but like perfectionism and wanting to like have every assignment perfect. We talked about the workload a bit earlier during the stream, and I said, again, not to scare anyone, but it's very heavy. It's a demanding curriculum. And with that being said, just the goal isn't for every assignment to be perfect. I think you have 5 different courses going on also, so that innately is just a lot of things happening at the same time. So it's more so about understanding the concepts and being able to apply them, and less about it being completely 100% perfect. Because again, Anita, you make a really good point about not sacrificing your own health and mental health for seeking perfection.
No, because been there, done that. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And also, like, if you're not able to hand in a time, you can also, like, ask your teacher, hey, I don't make it anymore. Can I have a week more? And there's like, yeah, sure. Think about it. You got 2 points lesser. That's fine. But you have it done. And even if it's just messy or something, you just, I was like, you suck, but you have it still. Sorry, that's comes like, also like, you suck, but still, you had it done. You had it done, and that's more than somebody who has nothing at all, or just even begin it.
And you're trying your best. Yeah, go ahead,
I feel
Alex.
like at the end of the day, it's not the grade that's important.
No, absolutely not.
Nobody in the industry after you graduate would care what grade you got, as long as you have something to show for. And it's way better to go and try your best, knowing that it might not work, but I'm trying my hardest, than stressing over what grade we will get. It doesn't make sense, really.
I'm curious to know kind of more practically, because it's interesting for them to hear from you directly. How many hours do you work for your courses on average per week? So maybe if you could tell me how many hours you have classes per week and how many hours you work for your courses per week. Again, not going for making things 100% perfect, but maybe an average, some kind of ballpark.
Depends.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to work 8 hours a week, a day. Sorry, like it is a full-time study, right? You go to school, you do your stuff. Ideally, you go home and do your assignments. that should be done by the end of the day, but you don't have to force yourself to do it on the same day. You still have the weekend, but weekends are usually for socializing, so it's recommended to do it ASAP.
Yeah.
And my recommendation is like, if you are artistic and you're struggling with like tech stuff and you're like not really into programming, then just do the programming assignments as soon as you can, because the exams are going to be easy if you just do the homework. That's it. People are struggling or stressing a lot about, I'm very technical, but I don't like art. Just follow the courses and get feedback, and you're going to be at least at a 10, at a passable grade. Yes.
Does anyone have any like other opinions, how many hours they work per day?
Definitely not a good example of how many hours I work a day.
He is a god.
I'm a bit of a tryhard, and I think I average around 12 to 14 hours of work a day. So I think that's not a good example.
14?
And does that exclude the
Oh my God.
the class time that you have?
No, that's with class.
With class
altogether.
time. Okay, so all together. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
I don't have an extension course for my week. No.
Exactly. I mean, that would be amazing if we all had extension cords for a week. But I think on average, I hear that students work from 40 to 60 hours a week. And I think that can be somewhat of an average.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like the opposite to Alex. He works a lot. I work less. I'm more into socializing and networking and being distracted and stuff. But I wanted to get to two questions that I saw in the chat that have been probably gone by now regarding the Discord and finances. Regarding the Discord, everything is mostly on Discord, but you also get a lot of emails from Howest about official stuff. But most of the students here, I would say like 95%, everything's on Discord. So that's the best way of communication. You have something for animation, you have something for GGP. It's good. You have the movie club. Yes. Animation, yes.
And I think it's interesting that you both have like very different answers here, because that is also to say that not every student here is a cookie cutter of each other. No. We are all different human beings. We are not robots. Some of us need lesser hours to finish assignments, and some of us need more, and that's okay. I think everybody is different, so one person's experience isn't necessarily universal.
I think the best part about being here is that there isn't a cookie cutter. Everyone is different, and you will be surprised by how diverse the people here are. I've seen, I think, everything. I stopped being weirded out like last year because I did see things that I never had on my bingo card. Things that completely blew my mind. At this point, nothing can surprise me. I've seen most everything.
It's a very open-minded community, and I think that's a reason that a lot of students love to be around campus.
Yes.
Regarding the finances question, how we manage with the finances here, I'm from Germany, and the reason why I chose Howest here is because in Germany, if you want to study games, most of the schools there are private, and they cost up to like 20K, and I don't have that money. I went to Cologne and Munich, etc., to see what the schools are like, but I eventually just gave up because I didn't have money. I worked for 3 years and door-to-doors, and then a friend of mine recommended Howest to me because it's, in Germany we call it staatliche Schule, which is something that's state-approved, and we get funding or student loans from Germany, BAföG. Only issue is if you do the 3-year course, because DIE is a 3-year course, you are going to work a lot. The second year is a very heavy workload. And a lot of people, including me, tend to split that second year and do it in 4 years. But you're doing it too, yeah.
I will as well.
Yeah, I'm also IoT. Can I just adding something?
Yes.
Yeah, as like because I'm also like from Germany. For me, it's like I get also like BAföG. I don't know if every country has that. If not, Here are many student jobs opportunities. Also, like you can write the city hall about that. So, hey, I'm a outside student, and they have a student job portal, especially for bars and restaurants, and even hotels are in it. And I applied there, and the favorite. Sometimes I have the feeling Mary's is the favorite bar from the Howest students. And now I work there at Mary's part-time, so just 2 days at weeks, and to get a little bit more finances.
There was a question earlier before the student panel about working on the side of the education. And I think it's interesting that all of you, you said, Anita, that you're planning on. Yeah. So it is a 3-year program, as I had mentioned before. Some students, as mentioned, choose to elongate that and take basically fewer courses per semester. And for example, do the program in 4 years. Something that's really important to mention though, is that this is not typically possible for first year students unless there are certain conditions met, but that's not, I would say, common. So from the second year forward, one could split the track into what's called an individualized traject, IoT. So that's, if you hear IoT, that's what's referred to there.
Yep. The reason I mentioned IoT earlier is because in Germany, we get the funding for 3 years of school. And if it goes beyond 3 years, beyond the Regelstudienzeit, you end up having issues with the government, and they're going to be like, nope. And that's what I'm going to run into next year, because I got paid for 2 years for now. But the next year, I have no idea how I'm going to finance it. I'm probably going to get a student job. I'm also going to freelance on the side. So if you do it in 3 years and you're German, you're good, no problem. But if you do it like me and you're extending it, you might want to consider how to finance the third and fourth year.
I think I can give a different example because I'm Bulgarian. And in Bulgaria, we don't have that. We don't have any student financing.
Yep.
So for me, it was quite different. My first year, I really depended on my parents. I thank God for them. And now I split my year so I can work. I currently work as an animator and on the side, and then I have my animation studies. I already worked at Mary's. I didn't like it that much, but I think it's depending on what type of person you are. It just didn't fit me. I tried working different things, but the way I currently do my financing is I get a bit of help from my parents. I work, and because I'm a tryhard, I got enough grades to get student financing from Howest.
Okay.
So I applied, some conditions were met, and it kind of works on how much your parents earn. So you can, if you get, I think, 60 out of 60 credits at the end of the year, you can apply for that.
From your second year.
From your second
exactly.
year. The first year is a bit of a push.
To add to that, I recently heard also that, especially here in Flanders, there is an opportunity to get student financing from the government itself if they see that you're actually doing stuff. But I am not too deep into that. I want to research it more.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we say from the second year onwards, some international students could be eligible for those grants or assistances. Unfortunately, for first years, it's until that they see that you've passed a certain amount of credit points that it would only then become available.
It might also just be like 100 or 200 euros after the second year. And even if it doesn't sound like you can survive off it, it's free money. So definitely look it up. But again, I'm not the right person.
It's always, anything is help, really. It's a survival.
So on that note, I do want to move on to another question that's super frequently asked for prospective students. I want you to guess what that question might be.
Housing? No.
Not housing.
Okay.
Is it the math?
It is. It is the math.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I just want to hear about your experiences with the math course at DIE. How did this differ from your previous math education? Any tips for already preparing maybe before starting DIE?
Yeah, as like for someone who takes math for the 4th time this summer,
Wow.
yeah, but I recently learned as like why I was so bad at it. Math itself is actually not scary. Houdini itself is also not scary. As like actually I like as like okay for beginning. The math is in some way different that we don't have like normal class books and just do the formulas. We have here like a program that called Houdini that VFX people use it, and we applied the formulas in Houdini to objects and do, for example, like splatter effects or just like moving objects in circles, so that you know how a sinus function or a cosinus function works in real life, how it looks like. And my problem with math was more like I procrastinated a lot about that. And now I found out why I procrastinate. It was so more like, I was scared of it because I was like, I fail anyway because I'm bad at math, so I don't need to do it. Ne? And then when I figured out, no, of course you cannot do it. As like, if you don't do it, then it doesn't work. And I also like found so many people who was like, okay, Elaine, we sit now every weekend there, we're doing the math, we will pass. So I guess that's the thing.
Yeah, I think what you say proves that the mentality, like the attitude that you bring in, means a lot. Otherwise, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you tell yourself that you're not good at it. So it's a really good example that you give. Anyone else?
I
If
just want to
you're-
mention something, sorry. So in Bulgaria, we have the education system always changes, but for me, at my year, when I was in high school, I specialized in advanced math, specifically because I was like, okay, I'm probably going to do this. I already had a plan in the future of what I wanted to do, so I took that step to plan ahead. But math here is a bit, it's not actually that different. It has matrices and stuff like that, but also it depends from major to major. For example, I do recommend for anyone who is going to be here in Belgium a little bit earlier to sign up to the intro courses that we have, because I signed up for them and they saved my life. So they're very, very useful. But for example, they don't apply to everyone. They do apply for GD students, so game development, and IGP students like me in the indie game production. But for example, for GGP, it's quite different, their math, so it really depends. So I would say go to the intro courses and also go to your buddies. They will also help you out. Like, for example, I know there were some buddies that were GGP and they were explaining like, oh yeah, this is what you're going to get through. So it is really, really useful.
I think you're all touching on such important points. The intro courses, the buddy system, developing like a positive mentality about it. David, do you want to share anything about the math?
I also noticed that people have they vary in their skill levels when it comes to math, because some schools teach more advanced math and others don't. Like when I was in Germany and I did my Abitur, we were talking about like stochastics, like probability and Kurvendiskussion, and I don't need that here. That was way more advanced, and I will never see that again, hopefully. What we did here mostly was unit circle, sine curves. You have
Vectors. Vector
Vectors.
systems.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mostly it.
Yeah.
If you look it up now and you watch a couple of videos on it, you might get a general grasp on what these topics are, and then you can spend some more time, or as soon as you come here, you're not going to be like, boom, overwhelmed by all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to ask, because we had mentioned it during the stream itself, about competitions that you can enter. For example, there's the rookies that students can enter and take part of. Anyone have any opportunities, such as competitions or contests they've applied to or want to apply to or participate in?
So I know of a couple competitions. There's the L'Oreal competition that I think Character Creation does, where they use meta-humans and make really funky hair. There's also from Sarah Division, like that's external, not Howest, but internally on Discord, the students like to promote these competitions. And the Rookies is one of the biggest ones. But I think you have some competitions that you want to talk about.
I was in the Rookies last year. I'm applying again this year. For animation, anyone who's interested in animation, there are multiple animation challenges every month. There's one that we host in the Animation Guild. There's also external animation challenges that I promote, like the ones from Agora and one from Adam Turnbull, who is an animator in England who makes every month a pose cycle challenge. So I try to push my friends and myself to try to animate more than it is required from the course, just because the more practice you get, the better you get. I think that's my experience with competitions.
There was actually a question that also was talking about the housing. I don't know if we got that covered, so maybe it might be a good idea.
Yeah, I just wanted to say
Oh yeah,
something.
no,
As
sorry,
like
go ahead.
my major unfortunately doesn't have a competition. But what I also like is a good way. There's like every year in Antwerpen or like here around game jams. Even like our school make game jams. And that's a super way to get people together, just work for a weekend and see what you can do. And yeah, I can highly recommend that. There's a site called Itch. There's also like Itch.io, I guess. They have always like a big schedule where you can participate on game jams. So, like if you have the time, and you don't even need to be don't think I'm not good enough for a game jam. I had one in my group. I participated in a game jam who just could a little bit pixel art. But he was also like, yeah, I know a lot of ants, and we made a game of ants. So just knowing, and he was just like a little bit the game designer in there. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I think game jams are also, and film jams, so you're working together in a group to, in a very short amount of time usually, put together a game or a film. And it's such an amazing way also to practice experiencing working with other profiles in a team with also a deadline as well. But it's great, Anita, that you also wanted to talk about housing, because I do see the time, and I just want to be conscious of that as well.
Yeah.
I need to quickly answer a question as I get super quick. There was a question about physics, if it's necessary to learn physics. You get taught most of the stuff that you need in the exams, but in your exams you will need some physics to like make a ball bounce, etc. So if you look into it, great. If you don't know it, you'll learn it here. So
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, David. On to housing. So
Yeah.
how has it worked for you? Do you have any tips for our students who are maybe still looking for something?
Well, my biggest tip, I don't know if we can tell any names specifically for like...
Yeah, I would say maybe let's not mention any specific names, but any in general tips about finding a good student accommodation.
I will say then, like, search as early as you can, honestly. And also, whenever you contact people, I do think it's a better idea to first go with an email and then go with a call if you haven't had any like answer yet. Because from my experience, it has always worked that calling them works best because they have so many people. And eventually, once they get to your email, there might not even be rooms anymore. And don't feel afraid to like always call them or contact them because, I mean, yeah, they're there to accommodate you. So it is a good idea, in my opinion. Of course, depends on the experience, but for me, it really helps a lot. And going in person, for sure, also. Asking some general questions like the floor plan, like pricing, stuff like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. I also saw a comment, how do you look at the chat and keep a straight face
It's
when
just
you're
so
doing
tiny.
when you're doing the stream?
I wanted to
We
put it up on
don't.
my phone, but
Yeah.
it's not public. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Could Alex just repeat the question that you had earlier? Because he said that he wanted a question asked, but I can't find it. Not this Alex, the Alex from the chat.
Alex from the chat, if you have a question, feel free to ask it once more. Before we get there, any other comments about housing, like having a shared kitchen, shared bathroom? What should you look for when looking for a student accommodation?
My experience with housing was complete luck. For me, I showed up here on the open day last year, previous year, 2 years ago in March, and I had on the lookout, I think, 2 or 3 places. I went on a house tour, and I got the first place.
Whoa.
That is very
What the
lucky.
hell?
That's really lucky.
Complete luck, and I'm still there, and I'm really happy with it. I have my own bathroom, and I share a kitchen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I feel like the best you can get for the lowest amount of money, like the best life quality of life type thing, is your own bathroom, your own shower, and shared kitchen.
Yep.
Yep.
I think I've heard from a lot of students that the shared kitchen really is a benefit because, and even if you do like have a bit of social anxiety and it's a bit scary to share like common places with people, having a kitchen, you meet different people. You also experience different cultures, people making different foods. We've had students like that would take turns in their shared kitchen cooking for each other, for example. So it can be really a nice experience.
Okay, so to answer Alex's question really quickly about the thing with staying till August, you stay as long as you want to. If you manage to do all the courses, you just stay. That's it. If you fail a course or 2 or 3, then you can retake them in August. Meaning, I think I had 3 or 4 retakes because, whoops. So you
It
get,
happens. Hey,
Yes.
life
Yeah, yeah.
happens.
you can, let's say if you're struggling with one course in particular and you only get a 9 on it, but every other course you pass, there is a chance that the council might decide to let you pass and move on, but you're not going to get the credit for that. So if your government, like in Germany, wants to see the full credit points, you might have a little bit of issues with that, but otherwise you can just pass to the next year.
Yeah, and another thing is, even if you fail in the summer in the retakes, that's not the end of the world. It depends how many retakes this is. It's up to, as like if you have just 2 retakes and you fail them both, and it's not a problem that you do the courses the next semester as well. If it's 5 or 3, I guess, then it's like, yeah, okay, do better IoT. So because you need to do the first year courses, they are important. I don't know.
Yeah. So the regulation also, good to note, is that in order to move on to the second year of DIE, you need to pass 40% of the total amount of credit points that you're enrolled for that academic year. If, for example, I don't pass math and I do the retake of math in August and I still don't pass it, that's okay. What happens is then you take the course on with you, like in your backpack, I say, to the second year, and then you'll take it again. The only thing to keep in mind there is once you've taken a course twice, and you've attempted the retake twice, if you still don't pass the course at that moment in time, then you would receive a block on your re-enrollment. So that's basically how that works.
I also know people who have a lot of retakes from the first year. I'm not sure if they have all of the first year stuff, but it is possible to just redo it. But it's very common that people just pass and move on, and that's it. So don't stress about it. You're in a community, and your community is going to help you and push you. That's the big difference between learning stuff online and learning stuff here at the university, because online, no one is there to kick your ass. But here you have your friends and students who are like pushing you to get through everything.
Absolutely.
I have to add something to the accommodation question to to get back on that topic, unless you want to add something to the.
No, go ahead.
So, like, in terms of accommodation, I was probably the worst example. I signed up to Howest 2 weeks before the first class started.
All right. Okay.
Yes, and I got my paperwork done. In that week, I got my new passport and my new ID and everything. I was so lucky. Howest said, if you can make it in time, you can come here. But it was a bad idea. It was terrible. I found a dorm through Discord. You can find it through Discord. People will post it there. There is a couple public Discords. There's also the official ones. These are locked for just students for later. You can look on Kotvest. You can look on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, the resources are also listed in the welcome guide, which you also have access to. And we'll, of course, email that to you a bit later, too.
But yeah, so I found a dorm, but the dorm was not available for 3 weeks. So I went to Stuvo, and they helped me out for 3 weeks. And I lived at the wing, the old wing. And honestly, one of the greatest experiences. It's a very old building, but the community makes up for it because you get to socialize with every floor if you're a little bit active. They meet up, they have events. Sometimes they do campfires outside. They have a table tennis thingy. It's really nice. I'm also a very active student in terms of socializing, so I go to a lot of dorms like Digit or Upcot, etc. And they're all scattered throughout the entire city. Those that are closer to school are going to be gone super fast. And most of them, have shared bathrooms, shared kitchens. My dorm has a shared kitchen. We've had a couple of issues with cleanliness, but we managed to get through with it. I think the biggest problem is always the shared toilets. So if you can find a dorm that has your own bathroom and toilets, like I do, luckily, you don't have to stress with that.
Right.
I can also add something for housing. Sorry, I got really really lucky because I know a friend and he is a summer student. So they rent to students only, and I have my little apartment with my own kitchen and my own bathroom. But I will move out this year because I want to move in with some friends in our own apartment, so that we share the rent is also a possibility. It's something. I mean, you can do it in the first year, but then you have strangers you live within. So it's nice to have then that with your friends now. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Usually, I think for students looking for a studio, that's not so common for students in the first year. It also depends on the landlord. Some landlords here in Belgium don't allow students to rent a studio apartment, for example, or a house. So it really depends on the landlord.
I think it might have been a bit stressful when David said spread and scattered all across the city. Don't worry, the city is small.
Really small.
It's
really, really small.
There is nothing that is far.
I think it depends also where you come from originally.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, but it's true. I said in the beginning, it's, in my opinion, a perfect student city because it's not tiny, but it's not big.
No, I got really surprised when I came here because it feels sort of like a game map where you have everything you need.
That's so
within a
so
walking
perfect.
distance.
Yeah,
because there are so many things that you wouldn't expect a city of the size to have that are just in walking distance. There's 4 skate parks, there's 2 cinemas, all within walking distance. There's a climbing gym, there's a trampoline park, there's 2 bowling alleys, there's I think at least 1 shopping center, all within walking distance. None of these stuff is more than 15 minutes walking.
Only issue is when you have class until very late, like 5 p.m., and then you get home to put your stuff somewhere, and then you want to buy something, it closes in an hour. So
you have to be very quick with groceries.
Or plan well in advance when you'll do your groceries. Because, I see Cherry's leaving.
Oh, no, Cherry.
No.
So,
bye, Cherry.
Bye, Cherry.
Cherry.
All right. Well, I do see the time, and I see that we've gone quite over the time as well. But
I have
hey,
to answer one question. So
Yes.
the question was, where do you find the Discord for DAE? Again, there's official ones, unofficial ones. The unofficial one, you could find it through Reddit, I think.
The official, the DIE Active Discord, you will receive access to that once you start here in August, September. So just hang tight. We will get that Discord invite link to you as soon as you start here in the fall. I first want to ask the chat to give huge amounts of appreciation to our students that have joined us for the panel. Thank you so much, Elaine, Anita, David, and Alex, for joining us here today and sharing your experiences. I think this was perfect and it was a great variety of answers as well. So lots of appreciation for our amazing students and amazing student panel. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the hosting.
And with that, that is the end of our online open day. Yolene, I don't know if you want to come in and wave goodbye. Yolene waves. Wout, you can also show yourself if you would like. Yolene says goodbye. Wout, who is our tech master person, also says goodbye. Oh, okay. Okay, Wout waves. Woat waves. All right, thank you so much. Just a quick reminder, if you're interested in those intro courses, the registrations are open as from today. So check out the info on the Howest website. Register if you would find that helpful. And we cannot wait to see so many of you, hopefully, in the fall.
The welcome days are really cool. Don't miss it. I missed it, and I missed out.
Yeah, and they're free fries.
And
Yes.
fries, and fries. And on that note, we wish you a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Bye.
Take care.